Greetings from Bell Buckle, particularly greetings from the Trail Room, which is the headquarters of our WILD program. We are beginning a series that's called From the Head to the Feet, where I will be interviewing key members of our faculty who lead some of our hallmark programs. Today, I am here with the inimitable Joe Griggs, our very own Webb class of 2005. So I'm excited for our viewers to hear and to see some of the highlights of this hugely impactful program. But before Joe and I talk about the WILD program, it's worth noting that we're only 3 days away from Thanksgiving. And so I want to take just a moment and just say how thankful I am to be at the Webb School, year 2 of my headship. And I'm particularly thankful for a very strong fall that we've had. We were finally able to celebrate our 150th birthday back in October. It was a fantastic weekend. Our students are thriving in academics and the arts and athletics. And they're thriving in large measure because of our faculty, for whom I am truly grateful. Men and women like Joe Griggs, who invest so well, so intentionally in good, healthy relationships with our students that makes all the difference, that helps them reach their very best. So, now let's talk about WILD. Before we actually talk about WILD, Joe, I think it's important for anybody who has been in your program to hear you say, just as you do in chapel when you introduce WILD. How do you say it, Joe?
I say, wow!
Love that. Very good. All right, so first question. We're in the classroom, right? So tell us about what the students learn in the classroom part of WILD.
So you can take a class just like algebra or Spanish. You can join the WILD class. Meets regularly. In between algebra and Spanish, you can come with me and build a fire. We do a lot of backpacking skills, survival skills, and leadership skills. And you kind of become my ambassadors. You kind of become the assistants of the WILD program by the time you're in this class and by the time you come out of it. You know the gear backwards and forwards. You can help people set up gear, prepare for a trip, plan a trip, execute a trip. So you're really kind of becoming my extended reach as we get more and more students involved.
So is it a semester class or year-long class?
It's usually a semester class. I got a year's worth of material. There's kind of 2 separate pieces to that puzzle, so you can take it up to a year and not repeat, but most people only have time to kind of work it in for a semester.
About how many students per semester do you have?
It's probably 4 or 5 a class, and we have 2 or 3 classes, so real tight, real intimate. We can do a lot with that number.
Okay, so you're having about 20 students every year that you're really investing in.
Yes, a big year would be 20, yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic. All right, so now let's move to some of the programming. Give us a sense of the number of trips and where you go. I remember a conversation we had shortly after I became head of school, and I'm hearing you talk about every weekend you're going doing something fun. So give us a sense of number of trips and where you go.
So we usually hit between 25 and 30 trips out of the year, and I think there's something like 33 weeks in the school year. So some of those are midweek. Sometimes we're doing stuff in the a Tuesday night. We're in the thicket, so it maybe not be a weekend, but that's kind of the average. We got day trips, canoeing, kayaking, whitewater kayaking, whitewater rafting, climbing, caving. We do overnights on all these state parks we have at our beck and call here. And then on the big trips, we do 4 or 5 days on the Appalachian Trail. We go down the Santa Fe River in Florida for 6 days. We've been up to the Boundary Waters on the Canadian border. We've been out to Utah a couple times. Cumberland Island, which is off the coast of Georgia. So when we have enough time, enough days, we really go far and wide and get a really intense college level, if not beyond, experience.
So I was listening today or yesterday in chapel, and you're talking about the Appalachian Trail trip that's coming, and I noted that you made some comment about snow is never the problem, but what is the problem?
Right, so this is a famous Brian Wofford quote. There is no such thing as bad weather, only unprepared people. So as long as we know what's coming, as long as we're prepared and kind of, following the gear list, given the weather to that situation, we should be able to make it in any situation, yeah.
Okay, so that makes me think about one of the beauties of this program, right? So that's true for camping or hiking, but it has tremendous application for life in general.
That's it.
So talk to us a little bit about that.
Right. So everything we do, is just a little glimpse at overcoming obstacles, dealing with uncomfortable situations, and that is a big part of life, right? Adulthood and beyond, just learning to deal with that and learning to rely, having a strong enough core to be able to take those blows, and that's really easy to learn and start in the physical world, which is what we're doing on these trips,
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, because one of the insights that I try and share with a lot of parents is, as parents, we don't want to protect our children from suffering. What we want to do is prepare them to suffer well. And my year and a half so far as head of school and watching Joe and watching this program, I think this is a hallmark for doing that well, teaching how to suffer well when you face adversity. So how about an example of a recent trip in the last year or two where you've worked through a pretty tough spot with some of your students?
Right. I recall a Roan Mountain trip. This is an Appalachian Trail as well. And it just rained on us. We stepped out of the bus into pouring down rain. And that's always a big hurdle for kids, right? And that night, we hiked up the mountain. That night, it turned freezing. Everything froze solid.
Wow.
So now everything is soaking and frozen. Waking up the next day to this winter wonderland. And we got kids who have never been on a trip before, kids who this is their first kind of experience with the whole situation, and just dealing with that cold. And, we got to get up, we got to go get water, we got to start breakfast, we got to pack up, we got to get out of here. And just seeing the kids work through that and realizing, what is the alternative at that point? You got to put one foot in front of the other. And so just seeing that with these long-term veteran kids, they are used to the drill, but maybe not that intense, and then kids who the first time out there didn't quite realize what they were signing up for maybe, and just realizing and seeing over the next couple of days the confidence and the ability and the reflection afterwards, after we get home, of I did that, if I can do that, what else can I do? And so just, I don't know. It's usually related to the cold is where we get the biggest lessons learned.
Right, yeah, no surprise. Well, good stuff there. All right, let's talk about the class trips. You offer particular and intentional trips for particular grade levels. So talk to us about what you offer there.
So starting in the 6th grade, we've been doing overnights in the thicket. They just get a little taste. They come in here, they check out the gear. A lot of them have never seen any of this kind of stuff on this level. So we outfit them, we hike them across, we spend the night in the woods, maybe for the first time. And as they progress, we get a lot more team building built into that. 7th and 8th grade go to New Frontiers. There's a lot of ropes course and problem solving. They're in bunkhouses. It's more of a summer camp kind of deal, but it always has this outdoor kind of flavor to it. 9th grade, we go out for 3 days, similar kind of deal, just trying to get that class bonded and talking to each other and communicating right off the bat, first week of school, and then all the way up to senior survival. We do a lot with the sophomores. We're developing the sophomore class right now, getting them out in a similar situation, maybe on a river. Come spring, that's kind of, we're thinking about that right now, and all the way up to senior survival, which is kind of the capstone, just this thing has taken on a life all its own. In the alumni hood, it's kind of the initiation into the alumni hood is how I think of it. Right. Going on for 40 years. Yeah, so talk to us a little bit more about that, because I do think we're going to have a lot of viewers who are alums, and just share both with them and those who do not know how powerful this trip is, what you do, and sort of when they come back, sort of what you see and hear in their hearts from that experience. Right. So I think it's a misnomer, right? The survival, I think, spooks a lot of people. Senior survival. I think we're going to abandon them for a week. Not the case. We're kind of on the river. We're whitewater rafting. We're on the Appalachian Trail. And what I've come to realize in these past couple of senior survivals is that it's this awesome gift we're giving them. And they don't understand that until afterwards. But right there in the May of their senior year, when they got colleges and they're getting pulled in a million different directions, and they're not sure what the next couple months is going to look like, and they're going to get uprooted and everything, we give them a chance to kind of take a step back, unplug all these screens, put everything on hold for a week, and just focus on themselves and focus on these immediate people who have been there for almost half their lives. Right. That's powerful stuff, and I loved seeing the look in their faces when they came back last year and hearing the stories. It was powerful. All right, so let's move from programs to talk about the gear and the facilities, because we at the school
we pour a lot in to support what we think is a really important program. So tell us
Absolutely.
about what you've got here.
So I always tell people it's unproportional. The amount of gear we have is unproportional to our student body. Like this gear closet is, it's hard to find a better one in high school, let alone college. Is kind of at this level, and it's just really important to me personally that a kid can come with nothing and go on any trip we offer. I don't think it should cost hundreds of dollars to go sleep in the dirt, right? So you can walk in, all my family never was into this. I've never seen any of this. I don't have, anything. We got you head to toe. We got you wool socks. We got you boots if you need them, right? Every scrap of gear we can outfit you and execute any trip we offer. And that is just a really powerful gift we can give to the student body. And being able to do 50, 60 kids on senior survival allows us to kind of keep that ball rolling all year long on any trip we offer. Facility-wise, right, we have 150 acres, which a lot of people do not have. We have pockets of woods. We got a creek down here. We got a ropes course on site. And so just having those, on these wild classes, in an hour we can go jump on the ropes course and do something, have an experience, and then be back in time for the next class is just invaluable.
Right. So not only the gear that you can sleep on or your pack, but you're on the water some too. So tell us a little bit about that.
So right in the beginning of the year and the end of the year, when it's warm enough, we kind of do hit the water sports pretty hard. And of course we have a Coe. We have a lot of whitewater rafting just right here in Chattanooga. We got the Duck River in our backyard, a lot of flat water, Timms Ford Lake. There's some island camping we can do out there. So we have a fleet of boats. We got a fleet of kayaks we can outfit people with and just kind of learn those skills. And just always have them kind of ready. We've taken them actually to the pond. When it floods out behind the library, that's when we do our canoe lessons, right? We'll pull the boats out in the middle of class and do strokes and our push and drawaways and all that good stuff.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. So you can see why this is such a distinctive program here at the Webb School. And I think it's worth pausing right here and saying a word of thanksgiving to the many alums who support this program. And help us make sure we have all of this gear. So we appreciate that very much.
And they do that both financially and gear-wise. We get a lot of packs and sleeping bags and clothes that people know kids are missing these things or needing these things, and we get a lot of donations in actual gear as well.
That's great. All right, so as we kind of wrap up here, Joe, tell us, in your own words, how important this outdoor program is to our entire community.
I think there's three pieces to that. The first is having a physical outlet is really, really important for this age group. Right. And having this, maybe non-athlete, you don't have to be a star athlete to go put one foot in front of the other. You don't have to be necessarily coordinated to put the paddle in water and pull. So just having that accessibility to something physically demanding, I think is really important. On the therapeutic side, right, being able to step away, having this clear objective. As soon as we leave the phones and step off the bus, all that matters is one foot in front of the other. All that matters is we need to get water. We need to cook food. We need to get to our destination and set up our shelter. And so having that clarity and that, it just helps you prioritize what really matters in your life. And when you come back, all the frivolous things become a little bit more apparent after that intense experience. I don't know, just having that physical and therapeutic kind of, and no other platform I don't think provides that. I think there's something about moving and traveling as a group, right? This group dynamic of a shared suffering and a shared, maybe I need to carry their stuff. It doesn't matter if I get there, it only matters if we all get there. So there's also this very big community-based, a lot of colleges are now kind of doing, I cook my own food, I bring my own food, I cook my own food, but we are very much who's cooking dinner tonight, right? Who's washing the pot, who's going to go get water for everybody. I mean, we're a traveling unit, and I think that just becomes it's a lot easier to see your place in the community at large, even when you get back.
Yeah, that's strong. And listening to you, one other piece that I would add, I think, is like one of our enduring understandings talks about, it's lifelong learning, that we want it to be something that's enjoyable. You're giving these students a gift because well beyond their Webb experience, when life gets tough, and it does, they can put on the pack. Absolutely. They can remember going out and really rejuvenating, putting some of the stress and strain on hold, and remembering and enjoying what they've done here. So great stuff, Joe. Thanks for taking time to talk with us about this Hallmark program. I appreciate that. So the WILD program is one of several programs here at the Webb School that help our students find that intersection between their passions and their gifts, helping them to thrive in college and life beyond. And so we look forward to talking more about some of our Hallmark programs in this program, From the Head to You Feet. So in our next edition, we are going to focus on our residential life program. So we look forward to talking to you again. Thank you. Have a great day.